All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So Jordan Schultz is reporting that the New York Jets have met with Jalen Milroe again. Right, the offensive coaching staff supposedly has met with Jalen Milroe, and this isn't the first time that we've heard Jalen Milroe linked to the New York Jets, right? We can go back to the NFL Combine, right, where the Jets met with him, and Charles London, the new QB coach, put Milroe through kind of a private workout, and it was significant at the time because, yes, of course, you have all 32 teams represented at the Combine, and, tons of coaches, tons of GMs. But that tweet, that report, I believe it was Rich Cimini who was on it. He didn't tweet out, oh, Charles London is working out Kyle McCord, Dylan Gabriel, Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe. No, it was just Milroe, which I felt was pretty significant. Like, why this one QB prospect? Why not them all? And if we're comparing Justin Fields' game to Jalen Milroe's game, it's pretty similar. As that dual threat, hard runner, tough to bring down in open space. So essentially, if you are a guy in Aaron Glenn or Tanner Inkstrand, right, running the offensive side of the football, if you want to go out and select a guy in Jalen Milroe and stash him away as your backup, as the long-term future answer at the QB position, with having time on the bench to develop behind Fields, not only would it be a good mentor for Milroe because the two skill sets are very, very similar, but you don't have to change the offense around. It's not like you're going from this statue, big arm, immobile pocket passer to this lightning rod running QB. And now you have to do things differently. No, it's this. I would assume would be the same exact offensive system. So the terminology would stay the same. The game planning would stay the same. There's not going to be any sort of bending of the system to one player's skill set because they have that same skill set. So I do think it's pretty interesting that we can start drawing a lot of different connections to Jalen Milroe potentially being drafted by the Jets. The issue that I have with this, right, is where are the Jets going to select Milroe if in fact they have real interest? 7 is just, in my opinion, too high. It is just too high. I like Milroe as a prospect, but it's too high in my opinion. And it's not just a Jets thing. I think it's too high for a lot of teams. Personally, I don't view Milroe as a first round target. I think in time he can be really, really good, right? If he's in a good destination with time on the bench to develop, working with an offensive staff that is really encouraged by his physical skill set, by his arm strength, by his deep ball accuracy, by his running abilities, I think again over time he can be a sweet option, right? Where he really has an opportunity to build upon his weaknesses, clean those things up, because there are some issues with Jalen Milroe's game, and we're going to get into it. But, if 7 is too high, is 42 too high as well? Now, my whole thing really with the Jets specifically here is that I think in the first 3 rounds, pick 7, pick 42, pick 73, those are 3 starters on this Jets team, a team that doesn't really have a lot of depth, a team that is really lacking in specific areas, wide receiver, tight end, D tackle, right tackle as well, strong safety. There's a lot of holes on this team. So if the Jets go out and scoop up a tight end in round 3, Elijah Arroyo falls or someone like that, right? That guy, in my eyes, is going to be a starting caliber player, not so much this developmental guy. So again, if you're trying to pinpoint where Milroe's going to go, 7's too high. That's off the table. But at 42, if you want to go out and draft Milroe, okay. But essentially, you're swapping out a starting caliber player, right? Take your pick on whoever target you want in the second round. For me, Tyleik Williams, D tackle from Ohio State. I love him. Personally, I would not rule out Alfred Collins. I think there might be a little bit of a scheme transition, but it seems like the Jets have had a lot of interest in these Texas players, and Collins is arguably one of the best run stuffers in the entire draft. Jaden Higgins, wide receiver from Iowa State. I mean, you can make an argument for a lot of different players here. A lot of different players. What happens if, one of the shorter, shiftier wide receivers slip? Igbuka, Luther Burden, could they be potentially in play? If they go Tyler Warren at spot number 7, and there's an offensive lineman that they feel comfortable with moving over to the right side, like Ursery from Minnesota or Connerly from Oregon, could that be the move, right? There's a lot of different scenarios that could play out. And this is why I'm so fascinated by this year's draft class. But the bottom line is those players are now off out of consideration if Jalen Milroe is going to be the pick at 42. So we're swapping out a starter, in theory, a starting caliber player in round 2 for a developmental quarterback. Now, if you rewind before free agency, I'm a big Shedeur Sanders fan. I think he has a really high floor. I think he does the hard things really, really well. I think when you talk about, hey, if you're an NFL team and you're asking the quarterback position to go out and have success, some of the most important pillars are things that Shedeur Sanders excels with, right? Accuracy, decision-making, very good under pressure, right? Things like that. Leading top 5 in yards, top 5 in touchdowns, a great TD to INT ratio, number 1 in collegiate football in completion percentage at 74%, which is a direct correlation with decision making, finding the open guy. Now, of course, you can point to a lot of different screens and whatnot, but if you make that argument with Sanders, you have to make that argument with every other quarterback as well. It's not just an argument that could be had against Sanders. So anyway, before free agency kicked off, I was kind of under the mindset of, hey, if Shedeur Sanders is there with that 7th overall pick, him, Tyrod Taylor, I think that could be a potential pairing in this style of offense too. And then you can just scoop up, one of these random vets like Jacoby Brissett or Marcus Mariota or Carson Wentz or someone like that. But that's not what the Jets did. The Jets went out and handed Justin Fields $30 million guaranteed over a 2-year contract worth up to $40 million. They've already came out and said that Fields is going to be QB1. Fields still has, tons of potential. So I'm kind of even though I still love Sanders, I'm shifting away from this whole QB in the first round and really QB in the first 3 rounds. I think, honestly, if the Jets want to target quarterback, day 3 should probably be the go-to, right? Because, then you have this big trickle-down effect, right? Jets take Jalen Milroe at 42, right? Although it could be the potential option long-term, we know how the media is with this football team. There's going to be instant expectations put on Jalen Milroe. When is he going to play? When is he going to unseat Justin Fields? This, that, how is he developing? Are they splitting first-team reps? Training camp statistics. If Fields has a down day, well, when is Milroe going to be put in and inserted as the starting quarterback? It just feels like unnecessary storylines. Now, if the Jets truly believe that Jalen Milroe is a franchise quarterback, then I gotta say you gotta take him. If there's 100% conviction, front office, coaching staff, this is our guy here, and we're talking about a 2nd round pick, and we don't have to change the offense for him. He is going to have time to sit on the bench. It is year 1 of the regime. If they feel that way and they say, we'll go with a different position just because we don't want to deal with the media headlines, then I think that would be maybe a little flawed, right? I don't envision Muji and Glenn doing that. I think these 2 guys are going to just do exactly what they want to do and kind of just tell everyone to deal with it. This is our team now. This team has been losing for a long, long time. I've literally been one of the top coaching candidates cycle after cycle. I wanted a job here. This is my team. I'm doing what I want. And if Milroe is that guy, then I could easily see the Jets selecting him. Again, would I do that at this point in time? Probably not. But of course, you can spin it the other way and say, all right, well, what if Fields flames out? What if that doesn't work? And we're asking the question, okay, who's the starting quarterback in 2026? It would have been nice to have a developmental quarterback on the roster, maybe outside of a Jordan Travis, just because we haven't seen him practice once, throughout the course of a regular season. That's still a bit of a wild card at this point in time. But who knows, maybe he shows something in preseason, but that is kind of the counter argument, right? Looking ahead, if Fields does not work out, you're asking the question, okay, do we draft a quarterback high next season? Are we trying to maneuver a trade? Who are the free agents next season? But I think without getting too far ahead of ourselves, it's pretty obvious that the Jets wanted Justin Fields. It's pretty obvious that he is going to be their guy for this upcoming season. It definitely does not feel just like a throwaway, like, we'll give this guy a shot and just see what happens. It feels more committed than just that, right? But again, Jalen Milroe, interesting quarterback prospect. Throw on top of it, he was invited to the NFL draft. The NFL is not trying to, embarrass anyone. They want people there that are going to get drafted. In other words, the NFL is kind of sending a message hey, Jalen Milroe could be a first round pick. He could be a second round pick, early second round pick here. Not round 3, not round 4, not round 5, early in the draft. They're not going to sit there and invite him to the draft for him to just sit there, and wait until day 3 of the draft. Like, that's just not happening. Anything could happen, really, but that just feels so unlikely. The draft isn't handing out 100 invites. It's only a selected few. And the fact that Milroe got one and he accepted, maybe that tells you something about where he thinks he's going to go as well. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and as always, go Jets.